The symptoms and conditions associated with cerebral small vessel disease. So as a reminder, cerebral small vessel disease will not present with symptoms initially. It has to be quite progressed in order to have symptoms. And so that's why it may be confusing if you have an incidental finding on an MRI of increased flare that you feel fine. But it's still important to treat because this is a progressive disease. And the sooner we can intervene, the more likely we are to slow, stop, or reverse. So, sometimes the first symptom that people will have of cerebral microvascular disease is a stroke. Cognitive impairment is one of the major components of cerebral small microvascular disease. And it really just depends on what part of the brain is being impacted by the disease, what the symptom will be. So it could be motor impairment, problems with balance, problems walking, falling down, urinary incontinence, or it could be affective disorders, depression, anxiety, even personality change. And vascular Parkinson's is a type of cerebral microvascular disease that impacts the centers, basal ganglia, basically, and other areas that are related to Parkinson's and dopamine. So we have small vessels throughout the body, and in the brain and brainstem, they're more enhanced in the deep gray matter, like the basal ganglia, like we were just talking about, related to gait, related to Parkinson's, thalamus, amygdala, hippocampus. So those are like the affective centers, the memory centers, and the integrative centers of the brain. The subcortical white matter also, and the brainstem, which has to do oftentimes more with like some of the primal functions, which would be controlling pee, digestion, balance of the autonomic nervous system, and things like that. And there's less small vessel supply to the cortical gray matter, the juxtacortical white matter, and the leptomeninges. So we've mentioned stroke a few times. The most common causes of strokes are not the small vessel disease. It's large vessel disease. So it's either atherosclerosis of the large vessels in the brain or a cardioembolism that goes into the brain and causes a stroke. So the heart throws an embolism that goes into the brain and blocks a vessel and causes a stroke. However, small vessel disease is associated with 85% of the intracerebral hemorrhagic strokes and 25% of the ischemic strokes. And so lacunar stroke is a type of ischemic stroke that the small vessel disease is responsible for in the brain.